This is Naoki Yoshida,
This is Fern Hall.
and you are listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Aetheryte Radio.
Here we go!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Aetheryte Radio, Gamerscape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm Fuse next, and with me today, we've got Zenidra, Aldino, and Bryn.
Hi.
Hello. Happy Final Fantasy Fan Fest 2019.
We have just a few things to talk about today. Paris Keynote was not even 12 hours ago, so we've got a lot of stuff. We've got jobs, we've got areas, we've got the new raid, we've got the Collector's Edition, we got the new race that we knew, kind of. We have the release date, early access dates. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into this guy. We got a new teaser trailer. It's the same trailer that we had back, expanded. It's the same one that we got at Vegas. There's two new scenes, and there's a little bit of there's like a different music track that we've kind of all that stuff together. Like as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, they're showing new stuff because the music's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the first big reveal is we've got Urianger and
As an astrology.
Master Matoya. There's just like they're just standing in this thing that's on fire. Yoshida did confirm a little bit later on that is the Ratika Greatwood. We saw that back in Vegas. And so Urianger is an astrologian, and boy does he look weird in that astrologian armor. I don't know. It looks weird. It looks really weird to me.
I've never heard of astrologian armor, but astrologian armor.
Oh gosh.
Here we go.
Oh jeez.
That's just my personal pet peeve. It is neither confirmed.
Well, mine's machinist. So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's only one way to say machine.
I missed to say pretty much everything, and so
I like how you're in the machinist boat, but you're in the astrologent. Like that's interesting. That's interesting how that works.
Are you an astronomer or an astronomer?
Are you an ether or an aether?
I mean, to be fair, the name of the podcast, we had it. Koji and Yoshida both said the name of it. They said Aetheryte. I mean.
I would argue that both are acceptable in that case.
Tomato.
I say it, and then people like it's. I was like, both are acceptable. You know
tomato.
what?
Yeah.
I think it's to talk about why he looks weird. It's the necklace. It's the necklace on an Elysian neck.
The necklace.
You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah.
Because it's like that neck looks like it's just gonna fall right off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we've got Urianger talking to Matoya.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "What sayest thou, Master Matoya? Do we want to accept this fate? We can accept this fate or defy it, but we cannot deny it." And then Y'shtola, there's like some flames, and the hood blows off, and it's Y'shtola.
Yeah.
But
It's
she's being
normal
called
eyes.
Master Matoya. And
Would you say those eyes are normal? I've gone back and forth.
I mean, they're just
It's
not
hard
as
to tell.
cloudy.
Yeah, they're definitely not as cloudy.
Right, yeah, and so she's like, I'm not one to run from my troubles. Until our friend returns, I will hold the line.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because she doesn't have a Gubu, so I don't know how she's going to do that.
Well played.
But yeah, so we know that this
You
scene...
don't know that about her.
So, I mean...
Let's not make assumptions.
So already we have so much speculation here, right? Like, why is Y'shtola like Matoya? Like,
Well, is Matoya then in this case a title? Because essentially, if the title of Matoya, it can be passed. You could also go into the theory of there's some kind of rebirth and cycle within the process.
My initial thought, I mean, the title is a good jump. My other thought is that obviously we know that Y'shtola has been sick for a while since her little Aether incident. So what if her and Matoya do the fusion dance, and now
A little
she's
bit of
fine.
A Thorgon
and now she's fine. Yeah, they grab the Potaro earrings and they're good.
Oh man, there's so many ways they can go about it, and I think essentially one of the really cool things is that it doesn't spoil what's to come with the next kind of story piece, but it only is going to essentially intensify it.
We know obviously Urianger and Y'shtola and Thancred have woken up, so that's a thing. What else is? Let's do this last scene here before I get to my other point I wanted to make.
This is gonna sound like a tangent. What's the witch from Dragon Age that raises daughters to hop into their body?
Oh,
I don't.
I can't remember, but
I haven't played enough Dragon Age.
Morgan is related to her, and I
Yeah,
can't.
she's one of the ones that was raised to have her
Yeah.
body basically taken over. So that's one of the things I thought of.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, that's a little more
Yeah.
creepy.
We've
I think
already
it's
seen that happen time and time again with the Power of the Echo guys. Like it's like we've seen that happen. We've seen it with the Empire. We've seen it with.
Yeah.
So this is like the concept isn't something foreign and can't be slightly modified to fit whatever they decide to do with this. But at the end of the day, like right now, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can speculate. But Fusion, you had another like scene or something you wanted?
Yeah. So there's the other expanded scene in this trailer with Thancred. So we saw this a little bit earlier. We've got Thancred with some little girl. A lot of us were saying Minfilia. Some of us were thinking maybe they're going to do like a Princess Sarah kind of thing. It is Minfilia. Minfilia confirmed. She's got very shiny blue eyes. So
They look like Hydaelyn herself.
She's
like
still Hydaelyn. Yeah, she's Hydaelyn Minfilia. And he prances around a little bit more with the gunblade. Throw some ammo in it, and he's fancy.
Yeah,
he's fancy now.
So part of the conversation there is that obviously, Machinist, and we'll talk about some of the things they show off visually here on the show, but that kind of leads into, they talk about kind of ammo. And the question is it going to lean more into the Machinist ammo management, or is this something like Aetherflow, like we've seen with Summoner Scholar, et cetera? That's actually, I think, pointed out by
I don't think that Aetherflow and ammo on Machinist are that different from each other. But I think the real question, too, is, we know that Machinist is getting an overhaul in 5.0.
I would say all 18 jobs are, like everything.
Yes, but Machinist specifically.
The same. They change it so much every time.
It would not be a Final Fantasy 14 expansion if they did not just.
Everything is going to get changed.
But a caster, guys.
Yeah, they've said before how Machinist is really going to get a reworking, and it should, because the way that it's so dependent on like ping and stuff, it makes it a hard job to play. But
sucks if you're in Australia, anyway.
Yeah, right. Sucks if you're anywhere, really, unless you live in the data center. But that's a whole other.
In the data center, I'm like 70 miles away, and it still sucks. So
well, then there you go.
Yeah. All right, go ahead though.
So one thing I wanted to bring up, because I thought it was really interesting. So we when we saw this trailer originally in Vegas, it was already a different trailer. We have it's the Gremlin, but it's voiced. We have like presumably Elidibus or Xenos kind of narrating things. But now with this scene with Urianger and Y'shtola, and with Thancred and Minfilia, these are like scenes that seem kind of weird just as like a thing for an opening, because obviously like if there's some kind of big fire in the Great Wood, we can't go to the Great Wood yet. Is this some like random scene that we're gonna get between 4.5 Part 2 and 5.0? Are we getting CG cutscenes in the MSQ in 5.0? Because
we haven't had that in a while.
The only CG cutscenes we've had in this game are Binding Coil, right at the end. And so I'm wondering if that's something they would do.
I think Yoshi P has something that it's like, I don't, we can speculate, but the feeling I get when we talk about the Calamity of Light, this totally spoiler-ish territory, or at least speculation territories, to be warned, chat. What has the coming has to be undone. So the voice is obviously speaking from a time in which the whatever is about to happen that has not happened to us yet has to be undone, has to be written. And if history has to be unwritten, let it be unwritten. How far back do we have to go to unwrite history? Are we talking about not just a rejoining that would essentially devastate everything, but actually going back and stopping Hydaelyn and Zodiark from sundering many, many, many eons ago? Like, if
I don't think we're going that far back.
I would say, like, I'm not going to say that it's happening. I'm saying that whatever is about to happen with the Great Wood, with the burning, with what, like, where we are or when we are, I hope it's not a time thing. I think but we're gonna. Oh man, I'm very excited for
to build on that. When they were talking about the Raktika Greatwood, he mentions that the place has already burned. Like the pictures they show us, that scene that they show us in the extended trailer has already happened, and now it's green again, and they've rebuilt some wood stuff. So
so the part where it happens, I mean, we can see it's already burned down. So like that, I think it's that part. So, and that's still there. So it's either this happened a long time ago and we're getting a super weird flashback where Urianger is like, you know what? Astrologian's not for me anymore, and Y'shtola used to be Matoya, or it's gonna happen and it's a really weird thing to put in the trailer.
My question is, if they're talking about basically rewinding time, how many times have they done it already?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like are we in some kind of loop?
Yeah.
You know, and then that
Well, I
ties
mean,
into
you know, with
the new raid,
with the calamities
multiple
and
endings.
It's Groundhog Day.
It is.
It
Today.
Yeah. Right now.
This would not be a bad day.
my
to
character
live.
just wakes up, looks out the window, just grabs a toaster, goes into the bathtub, and just let's just get this over with.
Bill Murray's it up all day long.
I got dark. I got dark real quick.
Yeah. I mean,
Dark
I've
Knight.
seen,
Yeah.
seen from the movie. I don't.
Darkness. So.
Yeah. So we got the trailer. Yoshida walks out. He's in Thancred cosplay, and we do get the first new job for Shadowbringers.
They had like a shadow over him, so it kind of looked like he was doing the whole Shadowbringers pose thing.
Yeah.
And then when you actually see him, he's in a different costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they did that in Frankfurt as well. They had a very similar stage setup. So they do like the silhouette shot, and then he walks out and he's wearing something, you know. And he did Samurai out in Frankfurt when they announced Samurai. So
2 keynotes I've been up for this year too.
Yeah. Better.
I mean, I was up
One
too, but
was a record.
I was so tired. I was so tired. So yes, Gunbreaker. Gunbreaker is the name of the job. I don't think that's a name that I saw floating around. A lot of people were speculating. Soldier, Gunbladier, Mercenary.
I'm so happy with the name. I like Soldier and Gun, like no Gunbreaker.
I'm
like
worried.
that.
Like, whose gun is he breaking? I hope it's not his own, because that's going to make tanking really difficult.
Yeah.
See, my theory is that. Now follow me on this one. So it's a Gunbreaker. It's a tank.
Take me on a journey.
I think that it's an enfeebling tank. I think that the ammo that you use enfeebles enemies, and that's how you tank.
That's their cooldown.
Yeah, because you see Thancred, you know, like load the gun,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of lingers on it, and that would be a cool way to do a new tank.
So they would be a better off tank, because then you could have your main tank like a paladin who still has their cooldowns.
Yes.
So not only do they have their own cooldowns, they have the enfeeblements from
Because
Gunbladier.
yeah, and because Thancred, and I mean it's CG, you know, we do things we can't do in the game, but he just cuts through a beam.
Stop
like
limiting yourself, Charles.
I know. I'm just saying.
Very
He cuts through a beam.
I mean, I can do that on my Dragoon. I don't know what jobs you're playing, but
But it's just that's what I want it to be, so that's what I saw when I saw it. But
and that would be a really good niche to fill, because we don't have anything like that. I think really the issue that they would run into with that is just a balanced kind of perspective with resistances and that kind of stuff. It's like, you know, you have like some jerk like bard or machinist over here that keeps like stunning or silencing the mob, and then you're like, all right, tank switch, and you get your Gunbreaker that's like, none of my stuff is sticking. This is not.
yeah, maybe it's just, you know, flashbacks to being a red mage in
Those
11.
don't do damage anymore.
There you go.
People don't do that anymore.
Yeah. But that
Or
is
shouldn't.
that's what I think about the name, at least, because they could have picked Gunblader. I mean, why didn't they? You know, why
No,
didn't?
I'm
It
not,
it does sound weird and like too
I mean,
easy.
yeah, I
You
guess
know?
so. I guess
I'm down with Gunbreaker. I think it's a solid name.
Me too.
I'm down with the GB.
My biggest issue actually with it is because we saw Thancred first before we had this with the white coat. That looks so much better than the actual AF that they showed us. It's all dark.
It's gonna be dyeable.
Well,
The AF
obviously
was sick though. Like, holy crap! I love the goat.
The,
Like,
the AF is cool, but I think the render that they gave us and what we saw from the video and game, it's all dark, and it's like there's no contrast in the design.
Dark night, darkness. This is the darkness experience.
Well, yeah, but he's supposed to be like a dark, like everything's black. It's fine. It makes sense, but whatever. I think the white coat looks too good.
It is cool.
I love the just the art, especially that's behind us on the screen.
I love that artwork. It's great artwork. Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Like, I think honestly though, that's going to be something really cool. Like, you know, getting that pure white, that kind of silky white dye to go in and apply to that. I think that.
Pure white all the way. Like, there's no other way to do it. That's so good. I mean, it's like you play Gunbreaker. You either get the upgraded AF and dye it white, or you just full squall glamour the entire run.
You have to.
Right? Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Get your squall glamours ready.
Right.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
So, Gunbreaker, it is a tank. It uses a gunblade. It doesn't have any associated class, and right now it's going to unlock from Gridania with a starting level of tentatively 60.
I'm rooting for 50. I like that the other jobs and everything starts at 50. I think that keeps also that content and that grind from like at 50, this game has so much content, right? So it's not like, 30. It's like, well, you have a handful of dungeons and then you kind of just have to grind it out for 20 levels and then boom. But like, I was like 60, I was like, I get it, but I would actually like personally to see it at 50 just so that it also lines
I want to see it 50 and
yeah,
my reasoning for it is because I mean, obviously right now we have Gunbreaker as the tank. It was one of these like, would they do another DPS? Would it be tank? And I've gone back like, it's a Gunblade. Like, I suck at tanking. I would have loved for it to be a DPS. I understand it's a tank, but now that we know this is a tank, we know that the next job is going to be healer. And I think because the game needs it, frankly, they need more people doing these roles. And I think it's going to be really rough if coming in at 60, if you're a person that hasn't played a healer or hasn't played a tank before, it could be rough. And so I think starting it back down at 50, just to allow more time to learn that role as you level, I think that would be a really good idea. Obviously, you know, if you need to get used to the role, you can play the other jobs before Shadowbringers, but I think it'd be nice to be able to do that with the newer job, to work your way up and learn the in and out of that one and not learn like all the in and outs of Paladin, but then have to go and learn all the in and outs of Gunbreaker while throwing your knowledge together of just tanking, you know.
A different idea.
Sure.
At 60 right now, and theoretically in the future, the jobs play similarly to how they do at 70. At 50, not.
That's true.
Right. There's definitely like different cadences. Yeah.
Playing, and this could all change because they are changing how the jobs play. So they could change it to that, but theoretically, perhaps they haven't. Maybe they were like, let's aim for 60 for them to be kind of similar.
And
them as far as 50 could prove difficult for the team based on how they're changing the jobs.
No, and that's right. And
starting back as far as 50 could be pointless.
Well, and you know, it's whenever you queue up for like an older roulette and you get into it, you're like, I can't use half of my things. Yeah. Like, what is my rotation even anymore? Like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. And
that's an assumption that's going to stay the same as well as because personally, I would love to see them get away from that and just allow you to practice your rotation at cap rather than take away your skill.
They need to just
nerf the crap out.
Give you everything, scale it down for older dudes.
Well, we have a small hint that they might be doing something like that in that one item that we get for pre-ordering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That actually, because that's coming in prior to the update, and that change alone, allowing the gear to essentially scale, could actually solve a lot of these little silly problems, and that could be one of them. That, from a scaling perspective,
like space in your inventory.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they also went and applied that to these other little pieces that we have that are also the same way.
Well, and it's interesting that that's the piece they decided to do it on, because I mean we had the Alamegan earrings with Stormblood, and it's essentially it's a here will help you get caught up earring. So it seems weird that with the eye level thing, I guess you would be taking it into dungeons, and dungeons do have eye level requirements, but it's really interesting to see what they'll do with that system going forward. Who knows?
Yeah, and the weird thing though is because the chat's mentioning about the 9 new dungeons, you can kind of learn how to play, Gunbreaker in those, and it's that with the trust system in the new dungeons, yes, but from if they do keep it at 60, from 60 to 70 before you
that's
those dungeons,
the
you can't use the trust system in that weird slot. And I'm hoping that it starts in Shadowbringers, and then they can say hey, we've updated the backfill because. And I think that's a reasonable, it's a responsible thing. I wouldn't expect them to get all 90 dungeons or whatever ready for the trust system, but I liked what they did. But then when they announced it, it's I was excited, and it's it's just for that. Bummer.
That was something that I think Yoshida kind of goofed on. Is he talks about you can unlock Gunbreaker in Gridania. It'll start at 60, and then you can just play Shadowbringers as Gunbreaker. I'm thinking. But all that stuff's going to start at 70. There's a 10 level gap you're missing there, buddy.
Yeah, and it's just like the new jobs and
We don't know that.
Stormblood. You know, like we were gonna start at 50, you know, and we had to get to 60 and then get to 70. So you know,
Yeah.
I do want to say though, one of the things that like really stood out to me throughout everything they kind of showed off was just the insanity and beauty of the new zones and the music in those zones.
Oh, the music, so good.
Seriously, like
I was like, when did they hire Enya?
yeah, exactly.
it really reminded me of the old 1.0 Shroud music that they had when they did the update where they added that second track. God, what was it called?
the
it was the non super boring ambient Shroud music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
would play once you got over to like where Toto Rock was. When you were walking over to Toto Rock, it would kick in. There was like the transition.
And the name for the Greatwood has a very Gridanian and inspired name with the Tika Greatwoods and Toto Rock. Like it has this this cadence in which that these things are kind of established. And holy crap! Like I was blown away.
Yeah, so we actually saw it. We saw the Ratika Greatwood in Vegas for the first time. It was just a couple of screenshots.
Yeah,
we have a full video now showing us.
The screenshots don't do it justice. The screenshots felt very flat, and I guess they hadn't finished. Obviously, them and then them running through the forest with the lighting, and they even kind of do it again with the Viera. But beyond that, like with the lighting and how everything is.
And you can see it's multi-leveled. Like there's ground, obviously, because you have to have ground, but it's all up in the trees.
It's funny because they talk about how these trees create like a canopy for the forest floor, and my first thought was like, that's what they said about like the Dravanian Forelands, and it was really just a bunch of tall trees. It wasn't really anything great. This is actually a canopy.
Yeah. It's like you can't fly above it is kind of something that he said. It's like it's above you. Like you can fly around, but they're still above you.
Yeah, yeah. This is an actual tree canopy.
The skybox is treetops.
Yeah,
that's pretty either side of them.
And that's awesome. We also got to see a new area, and I don't know. We did get it was I think concept art in Vegas of another area. I don't know if that's going to be this area or not. It looks like maybe, but this is the realm of the pixies. They're calling it Ilmeg. We know that
Meg.
these pixies. I'm dreading this already because they're already comparing pixies to Moogles.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not as bad as Moogles, so maybe we'll be all right.
They said stuff like they're gonna give you a hard time.
Yeah.
Does
Please
anybody
go
else
over here and find 20 of us?
Does anybody else get that like Final Fantasy IV Land of the Summons feel from Meg?
Yeah, it's kind of.
I was getting like a high fantasy like Hobbiton meets like,
and also some other symbols that people.
I don't want to say like pixie color palette, right? But like like it's that
it's very Fey-like, that sort of
Fey, obviously there's a language they're developing for the pixies.
Koji's not doing enough, so he and Oda-san developed a pixie language called Fey.
And I'm hoping that we get to see some kind of connection in with Scholar. We talk about like the Scholars have the two characters so far. I'm wondering if we get to see some kind of connection in with this. But I got a Final Fantasy IV feel off of this. I got to the point. Like one of the things, like I try to be fair, in my assessment of Stormblood, but the Asian is beautiful. I love the Asian infusion theme, but it doesn't speak to me. The dragons and Ishgard is a more thematic thing that I appreciate. And the fantasy thing that they're doing and they're showing off with these zones, I connect way more with, for whatever reason. Like everybody's gonna have a visual preference and an art style. Fantasy, and I'm already like just feeling like I'm excited for July, and I'm happy that it's over the 4th because I'm gonna take that whole freaking week off because it's a holiday. Rather than like the week after. They're like, it's the week after the 4th of July. It's like I already took vacation.
Yeah. Right. That was really surprising too, that July 2nd release date.
Right. I was like, did we mention that? I don't think we mentioned it yet.
No. Yeah, July 2nd.
July 2nd. And then the 28th if you pre-order of June 28th.
Yeah. Both Heavensward and Stormblood, it was like the day after E3. Like that was the schedule. And so, I think a lot of people were probably expecting that this time, but it's a little bit after this, which is nice for me because after E3, I'm always swamped with trying to get caught up from E3, and then it's like I could either write up this interview, or I could go play the expansion, and it's the expansion usually wins.
I think rightfully so. I mean, you can't. It can be all work. It can't be all work. Otherwise, life is just dull.
So with both of these new areas, we also had a look at an area in the Gunbreaker trailer, and I'm gonna go out there, and I'm sure we will talk about this in depth in 2 weeks. We're gonna have Anonymous on. We're gonna do Lorecast. I think we're going to the New World. I think that
like
is
the
a
new
very
world, new world.
The New World. If you look at
where the
not another shard.
Yeah.
The New World, the West.
Yeah.
Because Ratika Greatwood.
Is.
Ratika Greatwood has a very there's some ruins that have kind of like an Aztec kind of vibe.
Sure.
If you listen to the video that they put out, it almost gives kind of a jungly kind of like ambient noise.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the Gunbreaker video, it looks kind of like an Old West-ish kind of setting. It's possible that could be was Al Meng or whatever the
one that they mentioned.
The one that they mentioned in Vegas with the weird tilted city. It could be that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also important to note too that the Greatwood has a different style Aetheryte than the ones that we usually see on the other side of the planet. So I think, and when they talked about these new areas as well, they specifically said, quote, "We can't tell you exactly where they are."
Right.
Which means once we get to Tokyo, they're going to be like, here's the new CG. Hey, it's the West.
New World, yeah.
And they just dropped a bunch of New World stuff with Blue Mage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
also,
we're going to
they have kind of the Indian-esque inspiring of a New World, like that kind of relates into I guess American kind of history with the there are native people, they're getting sick, and there's some kind of cure that we need to go do with it.
And also Machinist AF3 is totally a cowboy thing.
I mean, yes.
So
that's
you're right. I would love to see the New World. Sorry, Michelle, I cut you off.
Oh, totally fine. There was at one point when they released the gear that was very Native American-esque.
Mm-hmm.
People were doing the whole cultural appropriation thing.
Yeah.
Square Enix is just like, you know what? Nah, here's the whole thing.
Here you go.
Well, that's something I've talked about with my wife a little bit is with the Blue Mage storyline. It's that idea of we're taking this kind of sacred art from the New World, and now it's a show. We've just completely bastardized it, and it's just all flashy, and it's just maybe a little too on the nose. I don't know. It's. But I would love to go. I would love to go into the New World and see the I forget the exact name, but the blue, basically a blue Grand Canyon, right? Where the Wallachia are and stuff that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing. I think that's gonna happen. A lot of people were speculating we would go to a different shard. I think that's a little unlikely. There's still a lot of a lot of our shard we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, from a lore perspective, at least from what we've been told in game, is that to go to another shard is to die.
Pretty much.
And so from a returning until our friend returns, if you going off your theory alone, that could actually really work and play out well, because if you're in the New World and you're doing whatever over there, it is a journey. It is you can't, hopping back and forth between.
Unless you're an ASEAN.
True.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then the other side of it, though, is that if that is the case, if we are to go into the New World, what does that actually imply then for the Empire? Because if and that means that if that should then draw this story conclusion based off of what we've seen in the trailer to a close, because if they're no longer a threat, then there's no reason to go there. And that's assuming.
Well, my other argument too is we've got the Ratika Greatwood, obviously something's going on. Somebody's setting stuff ablaze. That could totally sound like an Empire thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot tell me that Ilmeg is in a territory controlled by the Garlean Empire. No way is that under Garlean territory. No. So we're going somewhere that's not authored.
Yeah, it's very
exciting.
interesting. It's what if they do the Alamigo Doma thing that yes, part of it is Garlemald, but part of it is the new world as well.
I don't know. There's a loss of focus there, though, right? Because like Stormblood is the small two cities, right? You have Fladola, you have
Yosuya,
yeah, thank you, and you have like a contrasting story between them. You have a contrasting story between Alamingo and Doma, and that is, I think they handled it as best they can. But there is a kind of for me a clear difference in focus, and I still spend most of my time in Eorzea as opposed to like the Doman areas because they are somewhat in my mind. It is kind of like over there, and they handle that well. It would be, in my mind, I'd like something that could be a real strength is if it was the story and the focus where it's like, it's not like half the zones are this one story and half these zones kind of relate to another. But they could do, who knows what they're going to do.
You know, and honestly, from what we've seen in the trailer, I think that's exactly how it's going to go. I think over in Aetheryte in where give me 2 seconds. I need to look up the name.
Yeah, go ahead.
Of that last zone because I keep thinking it's one thing and I don't want to get it wrong. Because these are hard words. The one from Vegas.
Yeah, the one that we only got like the tilted city screenshot.
Yeah. Let me look this up.
Cool.
Yeah.
So my theory is that area is potentially an Aetheryte because that's got an Aetheryte crystal that we've had previously already. Mm-hmm. And I think over on that side, that's where we're gonna have Thancred and we're gonna have Minfilia kind of doing their thing. And then in the new world, we already know that Urianger and Master Matoya are in the Vertika Greatwood.
Like, I watched that video many times this
morning. The split.
Yeah. I watched the video so many times this morning trying to figure out what freaking town they're in.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this town has changed. What town is this?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Am-Arang.
Am-Arang.
Oh,
Am-Arang. A-M-H-A-R-A.
They're just trying to murder my tongue. Like,
I remember that because it sounded very dragony the first time, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, but, and I think it's a possibility as well that Am-Arang could be where this Gunbreaker video takes place because it's the same color palette.
Sure.
So that could, but it's also like you're fighting an armadillo. It looks kind of Western-ish. You can't tell me that it's not the new world, you know? So I still think we're going to the new world, though. I still think that's a very real. After what they did with Stormblood, they need to at least match Stormblood, if not exceed those expectations. So that's they just talked about it with Blue Mage. Why would they talk about that like that with Blue Mage if they weren't going to do anything else?
I loved how they were seeding that because even if we don't go to the new world with 5.0, that the fact is that they're starting to fill that in so that we can start to get a better picture. And I really appreciate that about Blue Mage. I really love the theory more so than anything else because there is so much of this shard that we haven't explored. Oh man, I'm really excited. I think the thing I'm feeling, and it's not based in facts, it's just based in emotion, with the new race, with these zones, with like the jobs, the fact that we also got blue, and I don't consider it a Stormblood job. I consider it an ARR one, even though because you don't need the expansion for it, which is cool. I'm already like feeling like Shadowbringers is a larger expansion than with Stormblood because we didn't get a race, we didn't get 3 jobs when we looked at Heavensward, right? Because with Heavensward race, 3 jobs, Stormblood a little bit less, but this one is already feeling like, oh wow, they're are they really just like bringing an insane amount of content? Obviously not just on day 1 of the expansion, but over the course of the next 2 years of it.
Sure,
it feels like I'm getting a lot, and I hope that ends up proving out to be true.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and there's pros and cons to it too. I mean, one of the biggest issues as an 11 player was we never got to go to the east, the far east, right? They have like, here's Ottergon, and you're like, you have the map for Ottergon, and it just gets cut, and you're like, no, keep going east. What's over? Like, what are you doing? And then finally with Rhapsodies, they're like, okay, here's the far east. It's like a tiny little zone with a bunch of bamboo, and that's it. But we got it. But I think with 14, they realize that they do have this big world, and even if they have to, if it's not a bunch of areas compacted into an area. So, like, for example, if this expansion was just Aetheryte, you would have a lot of zones in a little space on the map. And we know, like, one of the things I used to complain about was how Zulfatol was just, it got...
a dungeon.
It was a dungeon. It's this whole region. it's a dungeon.
Okay.
And so if you're going to spread stuff out like that, you might as well take us to as many areas as you can. And I think after that east and west split with Stormblood, they need to have something that equals that or exceeds it. And I think going to the New World would do that.
Right.
Any chance we might see Thavnir?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I hope so.
I mean,
my
and that's the other thing.
Dancers.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah, I mean, we know that's the other thing, and I've been saying this since Stormblood, is with that reveal of the new map now, well, the expansion of the map, right, where it has Kugane and everything. It added Thavnir. We've got Radz-at-Han right down there in the south, and then we've also got Old Charlayan.
Yeah.
So they're on the map. Are we going there? Are we just going to be like, we know a lot about these areas, here's where they are, maybe 6.0? You know, I don't...
One day.
I always think Thavnir would be a great place for the Blitzball arena, you know?
I know why you want that there. I know it. We know it. We've talked about it.
It seems like it would be a good spot for it. Anyway. But yeah, we will talk more at length on the 16th. We'll have Anonymous on. We'll do some lore stuff next week. We're gonna have Ethos on. We're gonna talk about the live letter, as well as his time out at FanFest. So live letter will be technically tomorrow, 1 a.m. Pacific, same time as the keynote. So keep an eye out for all of that.
Coffee into my veins.
Yes.
Where were we in this thing?
Oh, let's see. I have the old keynote up now.
I mean, there's still so much to talk about.
So Pixies are a Beastman race. Presumably we'll have daily
and
from them at some point.
summon, the art for the summon.
Titania.
Ooh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
So
like I am
go.
just blown away by beauty of everything they are presenting, right? I think everything in this art feels like Brian likes fantasy, dragons, and fairies.
Yeah, and so the way they talk about her, it makes me think it's gonna be kind of like another version of like Ramu.
I hope so.
I hope so. And so you can see when they show Ilmeg off, there's like this kind of like castle, and so she's probably just like chilling there, like.
Yeah, she's
and it's
the queen of the fairies. What she is. So.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she's the representative. Titania is the name of the queen of the fairies.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean it's not like Ilmeng is this area that looks completely devoid of Aether. Like it looks very like I think they'll be fine sustaining a pixie primal queen. I think they'll be all right. Yeah.
There's rainbows everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what that kind of story is, because obviously if they're fine, and there's, like we haven't really dealt with tempering. We really haven't dealt with like the threat of the primals in the main story, even though it's kind of always like alluded to in the behind the scenes, concept. But I'm like, I want to know. Like I would love to see them evolve that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But during the actual keynote itself, they're like, yeah, she's here, and like, how are they going to be involved with you if there's primal? It's got to be some kind of special trial. So we're all like, something's
going to be there.
Yeah, we need something from them. She says, prove it, and we beat her, and we get something, probably. And
then we become their fetch quest person.
Yeah.
In 5.2.
You're the best FedEx warrior of light we've had to date. At one time.
Still the warrior of light by then.
Oh yeah, and that's the question. Like we'll be like at some point that has to transition. I mean, it would shock me if it happened in 4.5.5, but I think essentially the journey, it should be a journey that happens as a part of the expansion. That'd be my guess.
Warrior of Light, Warrior of Darkness, 6.0 rolls around. We're just gonna be like the Warrior of Gray. Like it's just
the Warrior of
Balance.
The Warrior of Balance. Like
right.
Yeah.
Like don't be too good, don't be too evil.
Red Mage is just like
a hungry kid.
Yeah, there you go.
We're Aladdin.
They did talk again about some of the stuff that they recapped. They recapped a bunch of stuff we heard from Vegas already. We did get a new screenshot of the trust system, which is essentially just Yoshida's Minfilia glamored Lalafell walking around with the new models for Urianger, Y'shtola, and Thancred. It really doesn't tell us anything else.
Yeah, same thing with the new game plus. Like I just didn't get answers.
It was recap. It was recap stuff.
Yeah.
But that was something that they talked about. If you guys
this stuff, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Also, that filled up 30 seconds of talking.
Yeah.
After that, this is where This is where things get a little
Okay.
salty. So they talked about the 8-man raid. They wanted to have the announcement at Paris. For whatever reason, they couldn't. But they did announce the 24-man Alliance raid. And so for this one, they said they're gonna have 2 guest creators. And so we have Yosuke Saito, and they bring up his card. You know, he's worked on Nier Replicant, Nier Gestalt, Dragon Quest X, Dragon Quest XI, and Nier Automata. And then they announced Yoko Taro, who you all know Yoko Taro. And so I'm like, my initial thought, I'm like, that's really weird. What kind of original content would they do for 14? And it's a Nier raid.
Yeah. I, as someone who loves Nier, am really curious. And the question that I have, and I know that I'm positive on it, because I felt like with the Return to Evil East, that story and just letting these guest creators really just focus in on that aspect proved to be an insane strength and almost something that overshadows the game. I don't know how in the hell they're going to fit Nier into this. So I'm rooting for them to take on this challenge.
So the actual raid is Yorha Dark Apocalypse. I think this is a terrible idea. And I know from looking at my Twitter timeline this morning, I know I'm one of the very few people that think this. But my initial thought is, right, with Return to Evil East, we already had a lot of Evil East based lore into 14. We have like the Ascian names, we have Dalmasca, like those things were established before Return to Evil East came along. And so in terms of weaving it into the lore, not super hard. Like obviously there's some things that, you know, you have to introduce the Lucavi and stuff like that. But there was already some groundwork there for Evil East. With Nier, what? Like there's nothing here. And my kind of knee-jerk reaction to this, and look, at the end of the day, I'm gonna play the content, I'll probably use the gear from it, maybe I'll end up even liking
if
it,
looks
but
like that, I will.
Right, that's the thing. But my gut reaction to this is that if you're gonna theme park an MMO, theme park it from within your own series.
They're running out of stuff.
I don't know. I think I take the opposite approach. Is that when I look at them being able to focus in on this, like because when Yoshi P's running around and delegating, the only thing I was sitting here is like I've advocated for and I can't pronounce his name and forgive me, but for him to be the director of 16, I'm like, what could he do with a Final Fantasy title with the Final Fantasy budget? Yeah, and just go nuts. And here and they're like, let's put him into 14.
Yoko Taro is like the Zack Snyder of video games. He has this very weird style that not everybody likes, and it's either you have the people that are like, this is the best thing ever, or you have the people that are kind of like, eh. Right? It's a really weird kind of unique style. And I mean, maybe that's not the best comparison. Like I don't, you right away you're like,
agree,
what? But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna theme park from within your own series, I think Nier could have been great as a limited time collaboration. I don't think Nier is gonna be great as an expansion long raid series.
I mean, it just depends on how they fold it in. Like, is this another shard or what is this? How is it gonna work? And I'm really excited to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea.
No, my knee-jerk reaction is I think this is a terrible idea, and I feel really sorry for Oda-san and Koji that they have to try and have this make sense. I don't see a way for it to happen. But I mean, obviously at the end of the day, they will make it work.
Oh, certainly,
but whether or not it really makes sense, or if it's just kind of shoehorned in there, it's like Omega. Right, people are talking about like, oh, this will be like a simulation. I'm like, you can only use that excuse so many times because it's you have Omega and it's like, okay, we're gonna fight Kefka and Exeth. It's an excuse to put content in your game that doesn't fit.
I'm gonna say, I haven't played Nier. I'm not super hype. Like a lot of the people who are going to disagree with you are going to say, but I'm going to disagree with you in saying...
That's fine, yeah.
No, other games do kind of shoehorn stuff in. what is that one that we absolutely cannot play that Yukari plays?
What are you talking about?
Phantasy Star.
Oh,
Phantasy
sure.
Star has crossover events all the time. It's super successful. The events are successful.
And it's not in America.
Yeah. We can't have it.
They could, regardless of how it fits, this could still be a lot of fun. The gear is probably going to be gorgeous.
Sure.
I think, no, good. I was going to say, like, I think that it's like, at the worst case scenario, it's going to be super fun. At the best case, and maybe even the worst case scenario, it's going to overshadow the expansion. That, like, if they let him go and create, and just where I look at Return to Ivalice as the high note, when I compare it to Omega and some of the other stuff that's going on in Stormblood, like, I'm like, holy crap, like, what could they do with 100% focus? Like, hey, we're bringing in these great guest creators, so I can focus in on these other things, Yoshi P and the dev team, and we're going to let them go, and we're going to make it work. But holy crap, like, you could almost see here, if this is successful and people really enjoy it after the fact and just becomes like, what the hell was that? We want more of it. Who the hell are they going to do next? Like, it's that, like, this opens the door for, I think, just
I would much rather see them do original content.
Okay, yeah, there's definitely a point for that too. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna...
and I mean, look, like, I get it. Like, a lot of people like Nier, and my gut, and I know chat is like, you need to see it before first and stuff. And look, I get that. You're absolutely right. This could end up being really good. But again, my knee-jerk reaction to this is that this doesn't belong as an expansion long series raid, and I think that anything like this should be limited to a smaller scope, because it doesn't make sense to me that they would have it.
I haven't played Nier. I recognize the outfit that this character is wearing. Is the background relevant to the game?
Absolutely.
To Nier, yes, absolutely.
Okay. What I was going to say is it's possible that they take some of the visuals, the outfits, maybe a location or two, but then they put that entirely inside the plot line for our game.
Yeah,
like,
they put it in the context.
They could use basically the skins of Nier stuff and obviously the story writing, and that actually have anything to do with that universe.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard, because the world of Nier is very, and you're right, it's very incompatible with the world of 14.
Right. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, at least Ivalice you could weave in, and it's fine. And while no, it's not original content like the chat is saying, it was something that you can easily weave in, and they already had roots in 14 for Ivalice based stuff. I get that. Your Nier stuff, there's nothing. Yeah. And the only
that's what I'm excited
right now there is not anything
right.
Any connection that I can see the only thing I could see them doing is something with Allegan tech, and they can somehow make more sense of why they have the 13 models that are still like Allegan tech, even though they look nothing like all the other Allegan stuff.
What about clones? We've already seen them introduce clones, and that concept of obviously
a form of cloning.
And I mean, at the end of the Gimlet Dark, the two bosses you fight are like enhanced humans in some way. Because it's like, I don't know how they work. They just kind of were a throwaway boss. I mean, we talked about that dungeon and how
they're robots all over this game. All right.
We've been robots the whole time, guys.
I get your reaction, and I totally understand. And I have a similar one, but I'm like, I just want to know how. How are they going to do it? I can't wait to see that.
Tell me how you shoehorn this in here, and then I'll tell you if it's acceptable.
To me, this seems more like an intent to ride the popularity wave than to make good original content.
And there is that. And I mean, some people said that about Ivalice as well, because it's like Ivalice, everyone loves it. Let's just throw it in there, I get it.
But they didn't just throw it in there, though. Like,
right, I'm not arguing that.
They lovingly crafted it in there. Yeah. That's the difference. If it's just like
beautifully woven in, then I'm going to give it a chance.
And that's why I loved Ivalice. I mean, I was going to love it.
The only thing that I like that I would say would ultimately be is like, I would still love to see them do an MMO set in Ivalice and just Ivalice alone. But that's a wish list for like another life.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
people making a point in the chat, like the content that people like the least was the original stuff for the 24 bands, right?
Well, Crystal
Okay,
Tower,
that's-
but I think Void Arc definitely was it was a step in, like, they couldn't get the balance right.
Sure.
And so it's
Well,
like,
look
I
at
did
the
not
8
like
mans
Void
though.
Arc,
All that
especially
stuff has progressively gotten better. I mean,
Yes,
it's
agree.
that's how things work. It's just you start off with what you can do, and then you learn from it, and you do better the next round.
Right.
Yeah. And I think they definitely did that with Return to Belize. I think it was beautifully crafted. My hope is that a lot of these relationships that are built around 14 have other impacts within the Final Fantasy franchise within Square Enix. Obviously, I think there's a lot of people who would love to see Tactics or Tactics 2, or hey, now that you've got these people working, let's do this, and then let's do something else. And so I think it's a smart move. I think for me as a Nier fan, I think it tells me I need to make sure I go finish all the endings, just so that it's like, I want to make sure that I've got the context. I would encourage, like Michelle, since you haven't played it, it's on pretty much every platform that you can have, minus sans the Switch. So it's definitely worth the playthrough, and I think it's a beautifully crafted game, and so I'm really excited.
For the record, too, since I'm the one that's hating on this, and everyone else is kind of like, maybe. I have not finished Automata. I played a couple hours of the first Nier. I thought it was boring as hell. And I know that there are some super hardcore Drakengard fans out there, and I get it. If I would be excited for this too. But what I've seen from Nier, it's weird, it's quirky, and I don't see it fitting into 14. And so that's all I'm gonna say on it. I will obviously wait to see and play the content, but that's my initial impressions.
And I mean that was when people were like, "We're getting a Monster Hunter crossover." Yeah, that won't work. It's kind of that like, how the hell are they gonna?
Well, and in regards to Monster Hunter though, it's like we have, it came out and now it's just kind of there off to the side. It's not really out front anymore, you know what I mean? Same with Yokai Watch. Maybe a couple people are still glamoring some of the yokai weapons and stuff, but it's not there anymore, and that's why I think it would work better as a limited time thing. But it's out of my hands. I'm just here. I'm just gonna have to see how it unfolds.
I think beyond. Oh, go ahead, Michelle.
I was gonna say, it's fine. It's good to have differing opinions. If we all just agree with each
other,
absolutely, we'd be like, yeah, that's right, and we move on to the next topic.
Yeah,
so
I'm glad podcast in history.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here White Knight and Square Enix saying everything is great and I can't wait for everything. I think this is a horrible idea.
That's actually probably the reason that I won't play Nier. So when we do get to that, I could be the person who's like, I don't actually know what the crap is going on, but I like or dislike this.
Yeah,
there's a part of me that does want to go back and finish Automata, but there's also a part of me that's like, I did try to play it and I didn't. Yeah. So
it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. I think it has a potential, and it's interesting to see where it goes from there. I think what went beyond that, because we didn't see what they were said that wasn't finished was the 8-man. They didn't have it ready to show, so we're gonna have to wait for Tokyo. My hope, just like it is last time. Well, yeah, but my hope still is that it is tied into the story of 5.0, that with the normal and the savage, that they can say, we are going to build this into the story itself, so that it's not this thing. And even though, you look at Omega versus Alexander, the goblin speak annoyed me, but then the Omega was a trial, it was just trials, and it was fine for I love the fan service. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm hoping for something with a little bit more meat in, especially the content, mini boss, or something of that nature within an 8-man raid, because we have trials. We got trials with Omega, not good or bad. It's just okay. I'm hoping to see with the next one a little bit more punch, and the fact they didn't show anything to us has me hoping more for that, hoping more that it's rooted in the story.
And I think that's my mindset too. Is with the raids, it's I don't want them to just include Kefka for the sake of having Kefka. I don't want them to add Nier for the sake of having Nier. I want it to all make sense when you put it all together within the world. And Nier just stands out so much as something that wouldn't fit into that. It's like the square block trying to go into the triangle hole. You're it just doesn't really get in there. But I mean, at the end of the day, they'll have to make it make sense.
They got a real big file. They'll be fine.
So we'll see.
Do we know when specifically the next patch is going to be? Because we know that JP Fan Fest is going to be the 23rd.
It will be
March.
before JP Fan Fest, I
We
think.
will know tomorrow, my guess, at the live letter.
Probably. I think
Very
early or mid-March, I think, is going to be the next
So
patch.
yeah, maybe
And
they just
I'm still
wanna
behind
wait
on Eureka,
till
so that's
we get
great.
to that point in the story where they can show us what the 8-man's going to be.
Could definitely.
Well,
be.
yeah. Yeah.
Is the next patch going to be a story patch or just like
No. Next patch is Eureka.
Hydratos? Whatever
Next
it
patch is Hydatos, and then we don't get the story until 2.5.
Don't forget the PvP mode update, man.
Okay. Okay. That's true.
I want to say 2.56
what?
is part 2, and then 2.57 I think is when they're going to implement world visitation.
Yes. Yeah,
I think that's
what
right.
they said.
Yeah, I'm guessing World Visitation, the 2.57 is in April, because it's like you want to make sure that's stable, that's balanced, everybody's had time to finish the story piece of it, so that way during the gap in which that you're like people might be catching up and getting ready for 5.0.
If you're gonna break things, don't do it during the launch of 5.0.
Please don't. Please don't.
They'll have enough issues with Raubon and 5.0.
And
then
switching and it's
it's gonna be crazy. We did get our confirmation for the Viera.
Yeah.
And of course we've got some drama with this too because Square Enix. So they showed off the Viera. No male Viera, which is concerning.
At least shown to us. They didn't say no yet, but they didn't say yes yet either.
It's a very mixed bag of like if there were some, they should have shown it to us.
You're right. Yeah.
Are the models just not done? It's one of these things that there are so many people talking about this that it's like they gotta know that people would be talking about this, right? Like,
it's a good thing if people are and people are.
Question and answer panel.
I don't think there's really any bad strategy in having people be upset, because all of a sudden if people are raging and then people are like, what's going on? Why are people mad? Oh, there's only a female only Viera. Okay, what is this? I'm interested. Like it only like the more people and the more upset we could get about it, it can only I think end up benefiting in the end from a marketing perspective. From a gameplay perspective, I wasn't planning on switching anyway, so I don't feel like I get like I don't get it. Like okay, like.
Well, see, I think that's the difference too. Is you look at marketing, and it's like Viera in 14. Anyone that doesn't play, great, awesome. Anyone that does play, even Tanaka had the common sense to fix the gender locked races with 1.0, and Yoshida can't follow up with that. Come on.
1.0 had gender locked races. It wasn't until 2.0 that we actually.
Was it 2.0?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fixed it.
Okay, well, so Yoshida fixed the gender locked races, and he's not doing that again now.
Well, that's assumed that this is also the only gender or the only race that we're getting. This is possibly the last race.
Well, and there has been talk about a male only Ronso, and
which would be
that's
the
also
lion
weird. It's also annoying too, because the way that they've been pitching Viera, it's like this is probably the last race, and then if they come out at Tokyo, just kidding, here's Ronso. Like,
why do people trust what Yoshi?
Why are you playing this game?
Jig on the man. I'm not insulting him. Like I literally do not trust him. I am excited because it's like he's a showman. Really good. He's a showman, and he also knows his. I'm not going to curse his stuff. And so at the core of it, it's like, okay, possibly the last race.
Well,
like,
here's the thing, though.
If you could tell me it's not happening, I will never believe you. But at the same time, I'm not going to press him on it. It's like, oh, he said that. It's like, no. Like, you know what? I'm along for the ride, Yoshi P.
I don't want to get off Yoshi.
Well, and here's the other thing too, though. I mean, when it's the same issue that a lot of people have with the game updates itself. It's a pattern.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't get a shirt hinting at the next job, which was super surprising.
Yeah.
Because of the cosplay he was wearing. He'll probably be wearing something tomorrow at the live letter.
I hope so.
But it's just
that's
the way thinking about it when he came out and he talked about Blue Mage. He's like, people thought we wouldn't add another job before an expansion, but we never said we wouldn't. Yeah. He's going to come out at Tokyo, announce Ronzo. We said Viera was probably the last race, but we didn't say for sure. And that's going to be his wording. I'm calling it right now, and I'm just going to give the biggest facepalm sigh like ever, because it's like it feels predictable.
Yeah, but everybody's going to erupt and cheer. Everybody, it's like I think that's a really good thing.
What if this is in response to the leaks that came out that we thought were super accurate? Because it's Blue Mage, it's the Gunblader, right? What if they're like, okay, all right, well, we're gonna have to play closer to the chest right now. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Who can?
At that point, though, anything that was in those leaks, whether detailed or not, have mostly been proven true.
It's true.
And all that stuff is in development. They're not going to cancel anything or be able to add a gender for a different race in that time. And
as simple as they don't have the models done for the male.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be something where we've already seen them add the limited job, like another job whatever. Who's to say that, like, hey, new race, it's 5.5, 5.4.
Okay, so I've had my Twitter columns up this whole time because as soon as we went live today is when the press conference started.
Oh, cool.
So we've got a bit from Survivor, I guess. I haven't heard of this outlet. They have an update. They said producer Naoki Yoshida said when speaking to Survivor at a press conference that fans will have to wait until the Tokyo event for more information about male Viera.
Okay. All right, that's all you had.
So
you that's on the stage.
So that's the thing, right? Yeah. Like, Yoshida's not stupid. He knew that people were going to be asking about this. They should have said something on stage.
I mean,
because now you have people like me that are like, why the hell wouldn't you have male Viera? Like, this is such a terrible idea.
Right now, people are going, oh, and the hype is back up again.
Yeah,
it's marketing, man.
It's all for the audience.
I think it's brilliant. It's like, what did they say? No bad. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So even if people are like, there's no male bunnies, and people are like, what do you like? If anybody asks, like, what are you talking about? That is a plus, because all of a sudden somebody's like, what's going on? And then more people talking about 14. Like, it's regarding.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't like Viera as an example, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Here we confirmed Viera. We're only showing females. So now you have people. You have people that are excited, and then you have people that are like, "Where's male?"
Yeah.
You have the people like, "Cool, Viera," and then you have the people that are like, "WTF."
Yeah.
You don't want the WTF. Like, I know there's no such thing as like bad press. This is not a good thing that you want. If you're trying to promote your game like this, you don't want people saying they introduced this thing, but like, why is it only a female race? Especially in today. Like, today, you don't want that kind of a thing, right? So many of these costumes that we're getting now from like the Gold Saucer, everyone's like, where's the male version?
Yeah.
And so now they're going to introduce a race that's female only, and they're going to show just female footage of it.
Yeah.
And then they're not even going to acknowledge that idea that there is or isn't a male counterpart. That's a terrible idea.
I mean, I agree with you there, because like, in general, because there's a little bit of such a thing as bad publicity, because like you see the Viera reveal, and I was looking around in the community and in the reaction, and it was like, a lot of people are like, oh, that's cool, and a lot of people are like, oh yes, and just drooling, and that just presents us as, I don't know, the community and the game as a whole in a
bunny girls, yay!
It does. I mean,
and there's definitely some of that, like that you see that in the chat. Like, it's like, okay, and especially how even my wife commented on, like, well, it'd be nice if they wore a little bit more clothing, because that's one of the things that's really good about 14, the subscription model, is that they don't have to like appeal to just based on what's going to sell. Like, oh, every outfit is skimpier than the last, and then you want to go like pay money for it.
Personally care at all about that, but it's like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, are you aware of what it looks like? Do you care? I mean, if you don't care, just tell me. I mean, Yoko Taro, that man, said when someone asked, why did you put her in that outfit, he's like, I like girls. I wanted to see her look that way. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, that's fine, whatever. It's just, it kind of just leads into that narrative, and you don't want to get there. Right, you don't want to have to deal with that at all.
Did the model to you guys look more detailed than any of the previous race model reveals that we've seen? Like, I looked when they were showing that off, I was like, in game, I was like, they look like did they add a couple 100,000 polygons? It's like they looked far more.
It's all in the hair and the ears.
Yeah,
it's feathered.
Yeah, it's a lot of detailing in the hair, like, and it was surprising to me, because that's going to clip through literally everything.
Oh yeah,
redesigned the helmet system. So helmet, finally, we did it, guys. Redesigned helmet system.
As soon as people pop a Fantasia and turn into a Viera and start to wear all their different armor, they're gonna be like, "This was a terrible idea. Why did we ever say we wanted this?"
That's why they don't wear clothes.
Butt
so they
slider
can't clip through
confirmed.
clothes. I got it.
We finally got our butt slider in
Solved.
the Viera guys.
Oh, boy.
Solved.
Wow.
How to solve your problems in every game that has clipping. Just don't wear any other clothes. We're good.
There you go. Yeah. So no idea about the male Viera or male Ronso or whatever. We're gonna have to wait till the end of March for that.
So as I so often do,
It's a bummer.
I was told recently I disagree with Fusion a lot. I disagree with you.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair.
I want to
No,
know.
that's fine.
Lots of people are today. It seems. That's
No.
It's not even a based in any factory. It's just like I don't care if he waits to tell people about Elvira. I don't think it yes, it makes some people I want to know things. Well, so do I, but I have a little patience. So
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I mean, it's
and if he doesn't give it, yes, people will be disappointed, but life is disappointing.
I personally would be fine if they had it with the Viera as female only, and that if they wanted a male version, that it'd be on another race. I always kind of like the idea of especially the male Makote, because I liked how they ended up executing it.
Sure.
But a part of me goes and sees this, and it's it'd be neat because I also, coming from a fan of Evilise 12, it's and the lore being that males are trees, and they kind of we talked about it with Happy. With the Evilise raid where they said males are rare, and I was like, okay, it's if they want to do that, that's fine. But I was like, there's a part of me that would really I'm not going to switch to Viera. I've never said I want it, but I wanted it the race in the game because I would totally switch for Ronso. And part of me is
okay.
Man, please don't bring in males. Bring in the Ronso for Brian. It's just I'm coming at it purely selfishly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and I mean, and I want to say that too. I would switch to either one. I'm perfectly fine with my here, but at the same time, I think it's they could have predicted that there would be this kind of reaction to it.
Sure.
And I feel like Yoshida,
as a PR type standpoint, you're not talking I want to know right now.
As anybody that works for Square Enix.
Yeah.
As anybody that works for Square Enix, and Yoshida's a gamer, right? He's really down to earth with a lot of things when you talk to him. I feel like he would want to avoid this too, and the fact that this is even a discussion that we're having, it feels so unnecessary, and I think that really bugs me.
Yeah, man. I see it so much from the other side, in which that it's that the fact that we're talking about it is a positive thing. It's the whether it is
let's see Brian here.
Yeah, it's just that. More now there are limits. Yoshi P goes out and just murders people. I was okay, yeah, that's not what nobody wants that conversation.
I mean,
but it's there's just are there male Viera? The thing is that we've been talking about Viera and we're going to keep talking about it. And the more that people do the videos, the questions, it all ends up benefiting Square, and it's just the new age of how things are marketed.
Maybe they're fishing. Maybe they're trying to lead people to ask actually decent questions in the question and answer session.
Well,
only God can help people out with that. I've given up hope on humanity.
I don't know. After that question from Vegas, it'd feel really bad if Square turned around and then tried to bait the journalist into asking certain things for certain answers. That seems.
Don't want that.
No.
I don't care that they didn't tell us. I don't. But seeing it from the industry, go ask Blizzard if there's no bad publicity right now. There is for them. There is, and I don't think
that's also they misunderstand.
Right.
That's when they misunderstand who they're talking to. You got to understand your audience, right?
Right, and that's what he's saying there. It's you should have understood your audience and said, "Hey, we're going to talk about that at a later date." Moving on.
I'm wondering what the ratio of people that are upset about this versus the ratio of people who don't care or are happy with.
Well, and I'll go out on a limb with this, and I'll say that their audience for this Fan Fest keynote is not current players.
But
they're given the starter edition of Twitch Prime. They're introducing a race from 12. They're bringing in stuff from Nier that has a cult following practically.
Yeah.
They're trying to get new players, and I obviously from a business perspective I get that.
Oh yeah,
but this is not a keynote that was catered to current players. This is outreach trying to get people into the game.
Is this the year then, because of the new players and the influx and the issues with BFA?
Sure.
People were talking about ESO being, really the either being Final Fantasy or ESO being able to actually finally have more volume than World of Warcraft. Like when you're talking about that, like what Fusion just said, just tells me is saying they see the ability to actually then be the number one.
Yeah, maybe they do. And I mean, it was in the middle of the night, obviously, except for in Europe. But I mean, we had like 67,000, 69,000 people watching it live. And I was like, what is? So I went to browse Twitch, and it was the top. And I mean, yes, it's in the middle of the night, like I said, at least in America, but it beat things like the world first race for the new raid. And WoW, I don't know where its status is wise. I don't know if they've beaten it and that's why it fell off. But like, it beat all of that stuff right then. I don't know. So maybe that is what they were doing. It worked.
Got to get new players.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
And that just that promotion with Twitch Prime, and that's
a big deal.
Yeah,
that's genius.
That's a big deal.
That's genius.
That's gonna get a lot of people in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised they didn't sooner and announce an extension with it.
Oh, sure.
I'm wondering though, from an economy of scale and business with so many different subscriptions, that we won't see at some point some kind of Square Enix subscription to the platform. You see it with Xbox, you see it with PlayStation, you see it with Origin. Like everybody's kind of building out these subscription models, and I'm wondering if like at some point with like when you just look at the Twitch Prime perspective, that's a limited time run. At some point, is it to where they bundle that in to be included in various things? I just when I look
Square's has already shown us by example that they're super stubborn on that kind of stuff. Right. So I don't think it would ever happen.
Stubborn doesn't mean like I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm saying that with like as things progress, like I'm wondering if at some point they will offer their own service platform to their insane library of games as opposed to being hosted by others.
Maybe in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe. I mean, the thing I'm going back on is when 14 just launched and they had that kind of buddy subscription with 11. That was it only lasted for like a few months or something.
I know.
Like it was something that a lot of people wanted, and they had it, and then they got rid of it, and it's just like, why?
It's probably not successful.
Yeah, maybe it just didn't work.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was 11.
Yeah. But I mean, people are still playing 11 now. I mean,
it's true.
11's had a little bit of a resurgence.
There's obviously a roadmap, but and a lot of work that would have to be done. But then you also have Dragon Quest, 10. Yeah, they have all these things. They're not all over the world, but I'm just saying that at some point, instead of being subbed to multiple games, it's like just have a service, and that's where. And the only reason I bring it up is that this promotion with Twitch seems where I'm thinking a lot of the industry is going as we start to see more things shift into an office subscription based into more of the Fortnite model and off the loot boxes and into the glamour system model, etc. I don't think it's anytime soon, and nor am I calling for it because I do prefer subscription based games. I'm just saying that it's an interesting thing, and I'm going to be curious to see what if there is any kind of conversion rate, or if somebody's like, I'm already Amazon Prime, I'm not going to maintain a sub to something else as well.
Sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who hops over from that starter edition.
So I want to give a shout out. I know people are probably seeing me kind of smirking on the video feed for a second. I just got a message from our buddy Rasef from the subreddit. Who has been hearing some stuff. I don't know if he's out there or not. But apparently one of the questions asked at this press conference is, will there be any new turn-based Final Fantasy games?
I mean, he's on the Final Fantasy Council.
I mean, look, still better than the brothel question.
Absolutely.
Can we tell the person who asked? Yes, they're called Bravery Default.
Path Traveler.
Or it'll be on your phone.
Yeah. I can't wait to see a full write-up at the press conference. We should be getting that a little bit later today, I would think. We will probably have a list of that stuff to talk about next week. I would assume Ethos is in there.
I hope to goodness he is.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. All right, so that's Viera. Let's get away from Viera.
Right.
Let's get far away from Viera. They did show the collector's edition. It's kind of a weird mix of stuff in it, though. Yes. I think. So we've got the normal kind of stuff, right? We've got the small art book that will be until the actual art book comes out.
Right. That's true.
They'll
always
have
are.
the new statue, which is going to be a Dark Knight, which I'm sure will aggravate anyone that doesn't play a Dark Knight.
I don't want it, honestly. Like,
They,
I like the
they
Xenos
unsold
one.
me. They unsold me from the physical.
No, I like the Xenos one because it was part of the story. Like,
Well, it's the Warrior of Darkness now.
but
That's
you're
the
not gonna
reason.
play as a Dark Knight. Like, I'm just saying.
No, and I fully agree. At that
Yeah.
same time, I don't know what
Yeah,
they would have had otherwise, because like
I don't know.
I would be totally down for a Thancred statue, but then that's a Gunbreaker job statue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
so.
You can
Meanwhile,
give
I'm
us-
over here waiting for my Estinian Bring Arts figure
Right.
to arrive.
I mean, they could have given us Master Matoya or Yustola or whatever she.
But then
is
that's a
right
black mage, or that's
But
an
it's a black mage.
astrologia.
You're right.
Like, it's
that's true.
I
mean-
mean, the worst scenario is they're just gonna remake the Xeno statue, but with the cracked faceplate. Here you go. Here's your brand new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
I don't think there's anything at this point that they
Just a
could.
sticker.
Yeah.
They could have
I
given.
don't think there's.
They could have given
Well,
us
I
the
mean-
Emperor.
They could have
if
given us
we
the
were going
Emperor.
to
They could have
Darnold.
I don't know.
given us Minfilia. I would have loved a Gaia statue. I also
Yeah.
want to point out, and this isn't in our write up, so I do apologize. It'll be up. There's another. We're gonna be doing a big compilation of everything
Sure.
we know about Shadowbringers post. But they did release new Akihiko Yoshida artwork for Shadowbringers.
Yeah.
Gaius isn't on it. What
Yeah,
are they
not
gonna
at all.
do? What's gonna happen?
They brought him back.
No.
He crawled his way out of the
That's the highest
flames.
I've ever heard your voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
He crawled his way out of the wreckage of Ultima Weapon to then just die off screen. That's what it is.
I don't think he'll be off screen. I don't think.
Yeah, it can't be. Of course not. I'm just saying, worst
But
case
it's-
scenario.
But that's the thing. It's like, at some point, like, why do things happen? When you think of, like, the fact that he mustered it up, like, what is the driving force behind the Echo and Heidelin, and was he responding to, some kind of, thing like that? There's all kinds of ways that can kind of play it out. I think for me, like, I'm gonna gripe about that physical collector's edition, because
Sure.
literally I was
Yeah.
looking for just one thing, and there was like, I wanted a cloth map or some kind of,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
something, and
I
then
love
they're
it.
like, no, and it was like cards, and it was like, and a book, and it's like.
Yeah. Cards are just,
Digital collector's edition again. I like for the artwork.
Yeah.
I was like, if this is a map or a new flag. I recently just redid The Office, so I got all these really cool video game stuff. Got a Moogle that's a Mega Man Moogle, like freaking amazing. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get some stuff, get some Shadowbringers and throw it back
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
And then they're like, some kind of vinyls thing. I'm like, collector's edition, digital only. Thank you. Check it
Yeah,
out.
I mean that's my thing. Like I get the art books. Any art book that comes with the collector's edition,
Yeah.
at least from Square Enix, is never worth it. It's always like
Yeah.
super cheaply produced. It only has like 10 pages. They're
I
never
mean,
great.
this one's blank. Like, why would you even buy it?
Yeah, right. As soon as he was holding it up,
To draw your own
this
pictures.
this is how predictable Yoshida is getting now. As soon as he picks up the book, I'm like, he's gonna like start talking about it and open it up to show us that it's blank. And
Yeah.
sure enough, that's
Yeah.
what he like with every other book that they do on the live letters. But yeah, so that's not really worth it. The playing cards is a super weird addition.
Yeah.
I don't understand why those are there.
I don't think a
it's
single
cool.
person was excited about that except for
No.
me. I
mean,
love
look,
playing
it's got
cards.
the
I collect that
different
crap.
artwork on them. It's
Oh,
I
that's
used
fine.
to.
Paul from
But-
Gather Together is really hyped about that. I think
I would-
Chili said that he's going to get it unless it is like 250. Like it really at that point for what they showed, what's the price point? Because
Sure.
if it's $100, like that might be a good value.
It'll likely be similar to Stormblood.
The last
you know,
time,
I thought I read something about it being on the store. I'm going to check that. You go ahead.
last time I did not get the collector's edition because I didn't really know Xenos or care. Didn't
that's
care
fair.
about the figure. I really wanted the map though. So a friend of mine who was getting the collector's edition, who didn't care about the map, sent it to me. I have a map. I'm gonna see if that same friend cares about playing cards.
There you go.
eBay. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like if there was,
I mean, the artwork. Yeah.
specifically wanted that you didn't want the whole thing, just somebody will put it up, and then you can, if it's worth the price.
Or there was a time where you could use your Square Enix members points to buy bits from different collector's editions. That was a thing.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, like the play cards are cool. They like the different artwork on them. I think that's really cool. It seems weird to me. Also super weird to me is they have the Shadowbringers logo cling, which is freaking huge. What are you putting that on?
Your car.
Like
That's about
your
it.
entire back windshield of your car.
Yeah.
Like the thing is huge. I don't know what you would use it on.
Like that big.
That's huge. That's pretty big. That'd be like my entire laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what they want.
Put it over the scratch on your bumper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems too big, but
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what you get with the collector's edition. You also get in-game items. They're gonna have a wind-up Fran minion. You're gonna have the granny mount, and then of course, because we have new jobs and we need to glamour these weapons for these new jobs, we're gonna get the revolver. So that's Squall's gunblade from FF8. They really want me to play tank, is what I'm taking away from this.
Absolutely.
They really want me to play tank.
Oh, so the collector's edition is up. It is Windows and PS4 physical is $200 exactly.
It's up already?
Yeah, if you go to Shadowbringers products. So I think it's on the main site for Shadowbringers.
The price is up on pre-orders.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's why I was confused. Yeah, pre-orders do go up on the 6th for the collector's edition.
But
anybody that's looking for, we're also gonna have pre-orders. I think they're supposed to go up tonight for the Ultima statue and the Cactbot Party game. Are supposed to go up. The Squex merchandise Twitter also said they're going to be tweeting out some surprises at around 3 a.m. Pacific today. I don't know what those are. I don't know if it's just like the Ultima statue and the stuff that was previously announced and they think they're being cool by like teasing it, or if it's actual like new stuff that we didn't know that we were getting. So if you're into merch, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Also, my wallet's already going to be hurting a lot tonight, so might as well add a few extra few $100 on top of the what'll probably be a $250 statue.
Also, if you tend to collect physical, like boxes and things, do note that the Windows version, as of right now on the website, does not have a physical version of Standard. It's only a digital download. You cannot buy a box for your PC, period, unless it's a collector's one.
Yeah.
PS4 will have physical because, of course, it will. But
yeah. And also as a note, does it mention Steam at all?
No, not that I see.
With Stormblood, they did release a limited number of Steam collector's editions as well for people that have bought the PC version on Steam.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know if that's going to be the case for Shadowbringers, but keep an eye out, I guess, for that. But I think at that point, if you're buying the collector's edition,
right,
you're probably buying it because you want the statue, and if it doesn't come with, if it's a Steam PC thing, like whatever, you'll just fork over the money for if you're already spending that kind of money. But yeah. I'll buy it for sure. I gotta get all them statues. Gotta get them now. Otherwise, you'll never get them.
I'll get the Ultima one, but I'm not enthused about the Dark Knight. I'm just not.
Yeah. No, and I think that's totally fair, and I'm with you in that regard. But at the same time, it's like I've gotten all the other ones. I might as well get this one too, right?
Yeah. Not for $200. Nope.
Hey, at least I get a game with this one. Ultima statue just comes with an emote, and it's even more money. So
a bad emote. Can we talk about how stupid that looks? It looks really like the little tiny wings that come out of your back. Like
the wings are weird.
It's not as good as Mega Flare at all.
I'm not buying it for the emote, just to be clear. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm buying it for the statue."
Yeah, me too.
So do you want like $20 and you can give me the emote?
I mean, I'll give it to you for free. I don't care.
Wow,
if you want
that's a good deal. So on top of all that stuff, if you do pre-order the game, you'll get early access. That'll start on June 28th. Again, tentative, things might happen. But you'll get a baby gremlin minion, and then they'll have the Aetheryte earring, which will give you 30% XP buff up to level 70, and the item will scale based on your level, so you won't run into any item level issues with that. So
I feel like I need a real life pair of these, but you wouldn't be able to see them during the podcast because headphones.
Right.
They're like thematic for the podcast, right?
Right. Totally. Yeah. I wish they would have consulted it. We could have done some like cross promoting. It would have been great.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Never happened.
You have your Link shell, you have your Link Pearl, and then you have your Aetheryte radio that you wear on your ear.
Boom, done.
Oh, done.
Where's Koji? Has the help text been finalized on this item yet?
Oh my god. Never gonna happen.
I actually, I say that. I think
as you annoy
I think
him.
it actually already is in there. I think it was added with the last patch.
He's
I
gonna be like,
believe these are set to go out in March.
he's gonna be like, what? The people who asked us about Gaius over and over until he came back? No.
They want something? Screw off.
Right?
We already gave you Gaius. What else
yeah.
do you want?
Yeah. I thought these were already in game, but maybe not. I'm not seeing it. Maybe we just don't have it yet. But yeah, I think they were already out. So, oh well, missed opportunity. We'll have to reach out next time. We'll just do just like a glamour, like a T-shirt, right? We'll just
yeah. There you go.
It'll never happen.
That would be that's actually going to be the new logo for Aetheryte Radio come 5.0.
It's just the
It'll be
Aetheryte earring.
part of an ear, an earlobe.
It's
and
just
the
an ear and an earring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that aspect. I hope that we can see that quality of that earring though brought into other things.
Yeah, sure.
It's a lot. My God, could you imagine just getting like a whole like zone full of like crazy pixel hair like Viera wearing those earrings?
You would not. Where would you?
The game would be like, "There's too many polys. What's going on right now?
What's happening?
What are you doing?" But yeah, there we go. That is everything from the FanFest keynote.
Yep.
For now.
From the FanFest keynote.
Keynote.
From
Yes.
the keynote. From the keynote. So we do have the live letter. That is going to happen again tomorrow, or I guess tonight, depending on how you like to measure your weird late night things.
Yeah,
1 a.m. Pacific. 1 a.m. Pacific. That's supposed to go for I think a couple hours. They are supposedly. It sounds like they're going to have the Ultima statue will be up shortly after that. It's for pre-order. It sounds like there might be some other things as well. So again, if you are into merch and you're watching this live, make sure to check that out because there's probably a fair chance they'll go pretty quick. The statues usually do. Next week, we will be joined by our good friend Ethis. He's actually out at Paris right now at the event, so we'll talk to him about the event, and we are going to go over the live letter as well. And I would assume, hopefully, by then, we'll have a write-up somewhere from somebody that's at the press conference about the press conference, and we can see if there actually will be another turn-based Final Fantasy game that comes out.
I'm in stitches. I can't wait. I
I am in stitches. I cannot wait.
Exactly.
It's probably some NA outlet just like trying to get revenge for the brothel question. They're like, we can ask stupid
They
things.
should have tried harder than us.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah. Who knows? So yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else that we wanna talk about before we wrap this up? Any final comments on anything?
Gunbreaker is a slashing damage tank.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Basically, is all I wanted to say. It's yeah.
And we never
It's not,
with
you know,
the mention of Gunbreaker too. We didn't actually point this out. Yeah, right. So this is hysterical. So what was it? 2 weeks ago or so, Zanidra sends me a link. It's this like Final Fantasy VIII shirt up on T Fury. I'm like, oh, that's like really cool. I love it. So I picked it up, and so I come and I sit down. We're getting the show ready, and I look at Charles. Good old Alden over in the corner. He's wearing the shirt that I'm wearing, and then Zanidra's like, "Wait, hold on!" Goes and grabs it. So we all have, except for Brian. Brian's the odd man out, unfortunately.
I'm the odd man
but
out.
we all have
He
the
was like,
same.
guys,
I am repping my Gunblades.
I'm
Right?
like, huh? Here's
Yeah.
me in my collar shirt, same color. So
Yeah,
one
it's
of these
fine.
things is not like the other.
Just Brian, just don't sit up, and you can just say you're wearing the same shirt. Yeah, I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it too.
I got the collared edition, so I can wear it to work.
There you go. Oh man, good stuff.
Yep.
All right, so
Nerds.
that's gonna do it for this week. If you want, you can contact the show. You can email us aetheryteradio@gamerscape.com, or you can tweet at us at aetheryteradio. You can also reach us at Twitter, Facebook, and Discord with Gamerscape. Discord.gg/Gamerscape. Come join our little Discord community. Talk about FanFest and whatever else you want. And that's going to do it. We'll be here again next week, noon Pacific, with Ethis to talk about FanFest Day 2, FanFest Day 2, and the live letter. So thank you, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.